Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome to another deck tech of demons that I got 5-0 in a tournament with, and I'm now in top 5 with. You see, I never thought I'd say that with demons in the same sentence. Like, demons has always been a bit of a joke deck, where it's like, it's so close, but it just never gets there. But this one has. So yeah. Anyway, so on Friday, I was playing a more I was playing Enoch, and I was playing, in hindsight, some pretty risky numbers on things. But yeah, it wasn't a very. I just kind of threw it together and was like, let's play demons! And I did. And I went 5-0 in that tournament. Then I was thinking, alright, let's play us on ladder a bit, go on to top 10. And someone in chat was trying to, bounce off ideas as to, what you could do to improve the deck. And the one which I kind of went with was well, try basic Neva. And I'm like, sure. Because I only activated Enoch once every 5 games or something silly. And this has always been a problem with zombies. I mean, not with zombies, with demons. You never use the hero power. It's kind of insane. Advanced Nefaris never uses it. It's almost to a hilarious degree. And Enoch, you barely use it. And then with basic Nefaris, you barely use it. Because you're not really, attacking their creatures. Yeah, I just never used the hero power. So I looked at the Nature Splash for it. I love the Landslides to reset your portals. Love the Tornado Outbreak for tempo. And thought, well, let's try out this basic Neva thing. And it actually works. It works really, really well against control decks in particular. It lets you get Bedeviled Fiend swings in, which is nice. And gives you a little bit of a more consistent clock in the late game, which can be quite important. It also helps you with trading with Harpies against aggro decks, so it's actually just a nice hero for the deck in general. But anyway, so onto the list itself. Now I'm splashing green for 2 cards in particular, which is Tornado Outbreak for tempo and Landslide. Now Landslide is mostly as an extra way of resetting your own portal. But as a general thing, you can do some other weird tricks with it, like landslide 2 reflectors, and then play a vulture and mill them. I actually just played an incredibly long game against One Turn Heal, where I milled him to death. Yeah. I basically just milled his deck out of resources, and he lost. Just vulture, 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 and I just milled him to death. And every time there was some sort of target on the board, that I could landslide, which there are tons of in that deck, I would just get, 2 reactors, put them on top, mill them. Reactor was actually a problem because it keeps pumping up your own portals. But anyway, so before I head into any of the actual creatures, I'll just talk about the portal itself. Dark Portal, what this entire deck is based around. So Dark Portal reads, basically all of your demons cost 1 less to play, and at the start of your turn it gains 1 energy, and then you lose that amount of life, and you search your deck for a demon with levels equal or less to Dark Portal's energy and put it into your hand. Now, this allows you to do some very, very silly things. Some of note here is that you can just keep Succubi going over and over and over and over and over again and win through that. The standard game plan will usually be Portal on turn 2, and then get a Nightbringer, and then get maybe a Harpy or a Bedeviled Fiend depending on the matchup, and give it Swift, and then you'll go for a Succubus the next turn. And that's your curve. That is your absolute curve. Against some control decks it gets a bit weird though. If I know I'm playing against One Turn Heal, I'm not on that game plan because he just has so much sort of combat damage stop, as well as just having Word of Grace that can heal off the Succubus damage. So what I'm doing in that matchup is I'm just recycling vultures, where you get a vulture, you play it, mill him, and then you tutor another one, play it, mill him, put the other vulture back in the deck. You get the idea, and you actually can loop them infinitely. As long as you can keep resetting your portal and it doesn't kill you. Yeah, portal killing you is a problem, which is why I am playing green, because it gives you 8 things that reset your portal. So before we get into the actual creatures, yeah, I mentioned Landslide. You can put the portal back in your deck, and if you don't want it anymore, you shuffle it with the Divine Offering, and if you do just want to reset it, you can have a Shrine in hand, draw the portal again. Herald is the other way of resetting. Herald's an interesting one because it lets you reset double portal, although I don't really ever have 2 portals in play. But yeah, it lets you reset 2 portals, because you can get rid of the energy on one and sacrifice the Herald, kill the other portal, and kill one of his things. It's particularly good against 1-turn heal because it kills Electrostatic Storm immediately, and it also deals with reflectors and things like unstable reactors, which cause some serious issues for portals. Now, Herald is good. Landslide is better, but having a 2-mana energy reset is really nice. Landslide is better, but Herald is still necessary. I actually started at 3 Landslide, 3 Herald, and then went up to 4 Landslide, and then 4 Herald, because there's just so many control decks right now. You need to reset your portal like 3 times in a game. So yeah, you need the Heralds, you need the Landslides. So, as for the demons themselves, we've got 3 Nightbringer. This is just the trash demon. You play down, you get them out, and keep going. Now, it's one of the main tutors immediately, because if you have a Harpy or a Bedeviled in hand, you want to play that on curve, since it will cost 2 mana. So you go Portal, and then you play your Harpy, and you tutor for a Nightbringer, and then you just put it into play. And then next turn, you can sack the Nightbringer for some mana, and you're not down a card or anything, and you can maybe get a Succubus down with Swift on that turn or something. There are definite advantages to the Nightbringer. Just having it cost 0 just is really, really good. It's also another flying attacker for creature matchups, which helps with Consume Spirit. This deck has an abnormally high level of flying attackers, by the way. Most corruption decks just have Succubus and Mesmerizing Spirit and maybe Harpy. This has Harpy, Succubus, and Nightbringer, and you can tutor for all of them. So this never runs out of flying attackers, ever. So Consume's really, really good with the flying attackers. Now, the secondary effect is weird. I have used it with Landslide and Swift on Never before as a Ghetto Vulture. It can accidentally mill your own vultures. This has happened to me once, which has caused me to lose in a control mirror, but usually you can win in other ways. But yeah, the effect is usually to your benefit, because you can recycle... Like, if you mill 3 Succubus into your graveyard, you just tutor up a vulture, put them back in the deck, and then you just don't notice. So, yeah, Nightbringer's effect is usually only beneficial, even though you're the one tutoring stuff, because you can just put them back in the deck anyway. So anyway... Moving on to the second demon, we've got the Infernal Vulture. Now, Infernal Vulture is only a 2 of. Why? Because in most games, I will be tutoring up a Nightbringer at 1, not a Vulture. Nightbringer is also better in your opening hand, because if you're going second, you can go Portal Nightbringer on turn 1, or you can go Nightbringer on turn 1, and then Portal turn 2. You get the idea. So, with Vulture, because it costs 1 off Portal, that makes it way worse just to tutor up if you're having a normal curve. But Vulture lets you do 2 things. Recycle Succubi, which is surprisingly actually comes up sometimes. And more importantly, it gives you an auto win against control decks to an almost laughable degree. I've milled 40 cards with Vultures in one game before, just playing 10 of them and resetting my portal every 3 turns when the damage gets a bit insane, and just Vulture, 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 Vulture. It's an incredibly good anti-control card. And another thing is, you may think, yeah, milling's random though, and they'll still get like a lamp or something. No. You landslide the lamp, and then you vulture. So you still get rid of all the actually good resources. Making milling from a kind of weird gimmick to win to a legit way of running your opponent out of resources if they're playing control, because they don't have that many win conditions. So yes, you can actually run your opponent out of ways of winning with Vulture milling and control mirrors, and considering how many control decks are going on right now, definitely a good thing to have around. Alright, on to the Harpy. The Harpy. One of the single strongest creatures in the game, and is sickeningly good against aggro decks. But you also kind of want it against control sometimes. You have a Nightbringer opening. Although usually you'll be going for Bedeviled on the 2 on Portal. However, Harpy, you can go Portal, Harpy, and then the turn after that you can tutor for another Harpy and just keep layering the Harpies, and you'll just plow through all of his early aggro creatures, and then you start playing Succubi. Meaning that as long as you draw a little bit of removal, you're actually fine against aggro decks, which is kind of surprising considering, you know, Portal kills you. However, you can actually just kill them faster because you have a lot of healing in this deck. That and Never lets you get a lot of burst in, which your opponent probably wasn't expecting. So yeah, Harpy is definitely the better of the level 2 demons, but is not the single... hinge of the deck like it is with a lot of other corruption like slower decks, because this is more like it's an aggro deck if you have Portal, but it's can be a control deck if you don't have Portal, because there's just a lot of dorky demons around, so you're relying quite heavily on Harpy for your game plan when you don't draw Portal, so you can actually stall long enough to draw into it. Anyway, on to the second of the level 2 demons, Bedeviled Fiend. Now, there's only 2 in the deck. The main reason for that is because you just want to get bedeviled against control decks, pretty much, and you can just play one. I don't know, you can play one bedeviled, because you probably won't need a second one just to tutor against control decks. It is nice to have the second one, though, because it means you'll draw it against the Wisdom Dominion deck, because they have serious issues dealing with the Bedeviled Fiend. And the Bedeviled Fiend with Swift, you can actually do this the turn you tutor it. At least if you're going first with Portal on turn 2, you can go for this turn you tutor for it because you have 3 mana. And you can go Never Bedeviled for 5 damage swing, which is huge considering you're going for a Succubus next turn and dealing 3 damage there afterwards with Succubi every single turn. So you can get a lot of damage out of Bedeviled, but it's definitely more of a silver bullet demon, which is kind of funny considering it's a vanilla creature. But yeah, it's more of a silver bullet for it's an anti-control type card. It's not fantastic against aggro, although I have tutored for it against aggro before if I have, say, like a Vulture and a couple Nightbringers on board and I don't want to get a Harpy. Now, the last demon in the deck is the Succubus. Now, this is the best card in the deck outside of Portal itself. Succubus allows you to chain Drain over and over and over again with Portal. You get it on the 3rd turn of Portal, and 4th and 5th, and for the first... you get 3 energy, and you play Succubus, and you don't lose life for that turn. And then you lose 1, and then 2. So you can actually maintain it pretty well. And then you can actually just take 3 extra damage on Portal. So you've taken 6 damage from this Portal, effectively. Play 3 Succubi, and then you just play a Herald. And you get rid of all the energy on your Portal. And then suddenly you've taken 6 damage, and your opponent is like, oh, I might be able to win. And then you reset your Portal. And then if he clears all your Succubi... you get a Vulture on the first level of the reset portal, and you cycle them back in. So you cannot beat a Demon Portal deck in a long game. You just can't do it. Because the Succubi will keep happening, and if you're playing something like One Turn Heal, which can actually survive that many Succubi, they'll just recycle Vultures instead. Making it incredibly hard to beat a Demon deck with control. In my 5-0 run, I actually played against 3 control decks, and... one of them was slightly close. The other 2 were just whitewashes. I actually managed to rip apart a Wisdom Dominion player over many, many, many turns. I just got all of the resources out of his deck, and he just conceded. Because there was no way of him winning from there. He stayed in the game, I just landslided my own portal, and he just conceded. Because there was no way he could get out of that situation. And that's just what happens against control with demons. It is a very good anti-control deck. So... on to some of the non-demon cards. Yes, I do have a few corruption spells in here. 4 Fumes, 4 Consume, fairly standard for corruption decks. Running the full 4 Fumes because you need the early removal, and running the full 4 Consume because it's one of the reasons to go up to 2 corruption or even 3. Now, I'm also running 3 Word of Pain. This was at 4. It's not amazing in this deck, but it's still useful. I actually was at 4 until I went up to the 4th Herald. I think this was the last card I cut down on numbers. I actually cut down a Nightbringer for my tournament list for the 4th Landslide. But yeah, I cut 1 Word of Pain. That was the last one because it's still useful. It'll usually drain for 2, maybe 3 in the really long games. It'll usually just drain for 2, and the point is it heals you up a bit, and it's a cantrip, and healing is effectively card draw in this deck because it means you get an extra turn of Portal, for instance, or you can dig into your Herald. If you dig into your Herald with Word of Pain, you get 1 card deeper, and you gain some life, so you probably gained another turn of your Portal not killing you, so you actually gained 2 effective draw steps there, getting for a Herald or a Landslide, which is really important. So Word of Pain is not amazing in this deck like it is in a lot of other decks because you can just chain Succubi, which is just so much more powerful. However, it's still quite useful, so still worth running the 3. Now, as for the shrines, just running the 2 Sanctum, and I think it's 8 Nature, right? Yep, 8 Nature and 2 Sanctum. 2 Sanctum because I don't like going up to 3 Corruption. I will in some games. I don't really like doing it, which means I'm not a big fan of the 3rd Sanctum. It's also one of those things where I just don't want it in the early game at all. I've got Harpy for the early game stuff. I'm not really relying on Sanctum at all. and I'm not going up to 3 levels until at least after I played a Landslide, or if I am, I'm chaining Succubi and I'm not using Sanctum until maybe 2 turns later. So Sanctum, still very, very good against control decks, but it's less necessary in this kind of deck, so I'm only running the 2 of. Now, the 19 shrine count with 2 skill shrines is a little bit higher than normal. For me, I'm usually running 18. I'm on 19 because you kind of can't miss divines. You divine almost every turn, because even if, like, whenever you reset a portal, you've got 3 turns of just tutoring for a demon that probably isn't very good until you get to your succubi. So you can just divine offering them for free, and it does happen. Every time you draw a Nightbringer late game, you divine offering it, so it's nice to have the extra shrine in the deck. The 8 nature instead of 7 over what's the normal splash, because you really need the extra nature early, because you rely on Landslide as one of your resetters, and if you do not have a Landslide on curve in some situations, you will die. So you definitely need the 8th nature shrine. So anyway, let's see if we can hop into a ranked game with this. I actually have gone into top 5 multiple times. Wasn't just a fluke. I got up to rank 4, lost a couple games, dropped down to 14, and then got back up to rank 5 again. So yes, I can do it with this deck. It's actually kind of shocking how effective it's been. Most matchups have been fairly okay. Red is a bit sketchy sometimes, depends on the draw. And now I get red player, awful hand. Yeah, no portal. Yeah, not drawing portal sucks. It really does. Not drawing portal can just kill you. But you draw it in 60% of games roughly, and you can usually survive for the really long games. Now, I'm actually going to divine before this. Missed. Okay, that's fine. The reason for it is because I want to see what shrine I have so that I can go up mana to draw. Now I'm a little bit of mercy when it comes to what I get next, because I need the corruption. But I'm less likely to draw a nature, and I need the nature by turn 3 anyway, so it's sketchy is the point. But not much I can do about that. Now, if this is full on aggro, I may be in a little bit of trouble. Double 1-drop wouldn't be too bad, though, because I've got the double fumes. Okay. Portal. Okay, so I did hit the corruption. Oh, this is interesting. I don't think he can apply much pressure to me. Relying on portal is also really sketchy against red because they play Firebrand Goblin. So I'm just going to not take damage. If he has 4 1-drops, then yes, I'm completely screwed. But you can't play around 4 1-drop openings. Yeah, just had the extra one there, that's fine. So I get the portal down. Next turn I can play a Bedeviled with Swift. Gibber and Ronnie would be a little sketch right now, but he doesn't seem to have it. He did have 4 1-drops, just not by turn 2. This is a lot more manageable. Now, I'm actually just going to get a Nightbringer here, and this is a trick you can do with Nightbringer to get some extra damage out. Get the Swift, and get the Nightbringer down for free. I know it looks kind of weird that I'm wasting 5 damage on a Lizard Barbarian, but it is definitely worth it. Like, I win the long game, but I'm not going to win by racing at this point, because I didn't get a portal down turn 2. I got it down turn 3, so I'm not going to win through racing. But I do ever have Landslide. I've got Harpy coming off of the portal. Fire Blast is fine. I get a lot of time from that. That's really good for me. I think I actually go for a Bedeviled here, because then he has to Firebolt it, because you can't race a Bedeviled. You just can't. That's one of the reasons it's so good against control decks. And he doesn't have any creatures, so I think I just go for the Bedeviled. Yeah, this works out. And I can just Tornado Outbreak whatever he plays. I've got Landslide to reset my portal once it goes up to 4 energy. So I can get 2 Succubi out of it. Portal is a very Burning Rage-esque card. At least old Burning Rage, where like you just you reduce damage. It's a bit like a fixed burning rage almost from the previous one, where like you reduce damage because you're tutoring for stuff that can deal with his board state, but eventually it will kill you. Like you have to reset portal, whereas you can kind of get away with not resetting burning rage. Like at least the old ones. Like now you just control your hand size instead, but at least the old ones when they dealt damage to you every turn, you could kind of get away with not resetting them because you had some sort of way of sustaining life gain, or you just killed them before the actual thing happened. Word of fire, that's fine. Oh, nice. Play Succubus. Do I need the second landslide? I don't think so, so I can get rid of a landslide. So I've got Tornado Outbreak for Flame Serpent or something, and I'll just go down to 11 and I'll reset my portal. If he plays Phoenix, I'll just landslide it along with the portal, so I'll take the 4. And then I'll have 2 Succubi in hand, and I can also hold up Tornado Outbreak, so that looks good. Now the question is, do I want the portal or do I want to shuffle first? I think I want the portal, don't I? Depends what I draw. There's the Flame Serpent. No! So if I landslide, I'm effectively skipping my turn. Succubus actually heals for 6 because there's a Flame Serpent coming. So I'm actually better off. Do not have any more Bedevils in the deck, so I can't just go for a haste turn. I mean, next turn I've got haste. I can deal... Like, that's 6 with Succubus. And I've got 2 more mana. If I had a Bedeviled, I'd have 11. But I don't, because I tutored for 1 earlier. Maybe that was a mistake. Yeah, maybe that was a mistake. I can only deal 6, 7, 8 from hand currently. Actually, how much would a Vulture do? I'd have 6 mana. Vulture costs 1. So I've got 6 mana, so that's 4. Do I have lethal with attack double Succubus? That's annoying. Okay, I'm actually just gonna landslide the Phoenix and the portal and then mill both of them off. Because then I'm at 9 and I don't think there's anything he can do that just deals straight enough damage. I don't have lethal though, is the problem. Like, I do on board, but if he has, like, double removal spell, if he has, like, Fire Blast, Fireball, I do not currently have lethal. I do have 6 damage, and I think if he spends the turn removing, then I can't lose. Because I've got all 4 Succubi, right? The portal did its job. Like, the portal actually did its job. I took a lot of damage from it, but... Like, I got all the Succubi. How much damage did I take from that? I took... It went up to 6 energy, right? Played it on turn 3. It's currently turn 8. No, I took 5, 9, 12. I took 15 damage from it. Now, landslide doesn't actually do anything here. Okay, it kind of does. Fireball would save him. I think the only lethals he has is if he fireballs. Okay, let's just go for the succubus play. Because I think the only lethals he has is with a fireball. So he needs to fireball one of my guys. And now he can't fireball end of turn. Then he's got 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, I didn't miscount that. He can't kill me next turn. Yeah, because the most he can do from hand is 8. And then he's got 3 on board. So the succubus keeps me alive. So unless he has fireball, he's dead. Actually, no. Even with fireball, he's dead. Never mind. Yeah, because the succubus deals 6. But what about that? Didn't factor in the succubus trigger. But yeah, that was a lot more standard of a game. I actually getting an anti-aggro game is kind of weird because a lot of the ladder right now is control, which honestly has surprised me a little bit because I feel like control decks are a lot easier to counter. I mean, like the top 10 is massively diverse, by the way, right now. There's 3 dragon decks, and then like I think every other deck is a unique like deck. Okay, and I guess Cruel Tech, as we just played, is playing Flame Serpent red deck, so it does play differently. But he's still playing Phoenixes, so not sure exactly how different that is to the dragon deck. But he's not playing dragons, he's not playing altars, from what I could tell. So the rest of it, you've got Alexa. That's probably mono order. I can't really see anything else with Alexa getting up to 1800 rating. Then you've got Peacekeeper, he's playing Drain. Lyracy, I still haven't seen, although I should imagine it's some sort of control deck with Wisdom. And then I've got here with Demons, 1 turn heal, Kayanu. Like, top 10 is very diverse. And then you got all the Dominion control decks. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how diverse everything is right now. In general, the matchups for this deck haven't been too bad. Any control deck is favored. And Corruption Control isn't massively favored by any means. It's like 60% in your favor. It depends on when you get Portal. If you get Portal early, then you just win because you get more Succubi than he does, and you just win through that. You need a way of resetting your Portal, though. Landsliding his big plays, like if he goes Succubus and he has like a Harpy on board and you landslide and then play a Vulture, then you're massively far ahead. Because he doesn't get the Succubus Battlecry again, so he doesn't drain. And he just lost out on mana there as well. So it's, yeah, there are definitely ways of swinging that matchup towards Demon's favor. But overall, most matchups have been favored, or at least 50-50, which is, I'm pretty sure, like all you can really ask out of a ladder deck right now. I do think this is a better tournament deck than a ladder deck overall. It just so happens that the ladder is currently quite control-heavy, or I've just been playing as a lot of control decks. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback, want to ask me any questions about the deck, put it in the comment section below. But as for now, it's been Jotto, signing off.